vertical propaganda. Looks like these vertical streams are the way to go as far as getting people to sub and like and share and all that other good stuff. Even a few dollars been tossed. So, oh, poor Zeus, my dog, getting something to drink. I got some water and Sprite. I gotta stop drinking pop. Sprite's like my methadone. At least it doesn't have caffeine. In any event, hope everyone's having a good weekend. We just started. Having a good Friday night into Sunday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. For the first time, I'm putting no politics, and I got to stick to it too. I'm done with it. I'm done. Y'all want to talk about it? There are channels that are better served, and we will be enforcing it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to talk people out of it, but if it comes to timeouts, it will do it because we're at a point where uh, the political structure is fucked, very much fucked. So let's not talk about that. Now, got some other stories that are also pretty fucked. This Davis story is getting worse and worse by the second. Outside that, sports, football, mainly NFL. I really regret not keeping up with college more, honestly. Granted, I am sick of the fandom. I mean, I hate that. Oops, not to show myself off. I just want to make sure. See me? I am upset about how I did crack and pay NFL's fucking bullshit. The red zone, it's only $15. And the big deal is it used to not have commercials. It used to be 7 hours of commercial-free football. To be fair, they do not play that many commercials. I don't know what it's going to be like years from now, but to be 100% honest, it's not going to be too many commercials. There's a few. They did not interrupt the flow of football for them. It was just a few every so often. So it was very manageable. But that's now, 5 years from now, maybe all commercials. We'll see. We will see then. So I will pay them. I want to get out of paying the NFL any goddamn thing. Right? I want to get out of paying any sports league any goddamn thing, even if I am going to figure a way to watch it when I watch. I cover sports, I talk about sports, but like everything else in life, from a corporate standpoint, it leave a bad taste in your mouth. Pause. So yeah. Dying Light, The Beast just came out. Oh yeah, I seen Dying Light was coming out. Just watching Rad Brad play it. Shout out to Dying Light. I never really got into that series, but I did see it did come out. We got 9 people watching already. That's pretty dope. Feel free to like and share, and I appreciate you being here, Fizz. Appreciate you being one of them. I forgot. I saw trailers and stuff to Dying Light. About, like I said, I don't know. I heard of it, but I don't really know much about it. But that's cool. Might need to check it out. Question. And plenty of questions for the question. Shout out to the question. Shout out to Ted Cord. Shout out to Link 4120, not just 420. Appreciate you being here. Got several things I wanted to talk about. Hey, one of them is DC. Question: what did you hear about Warner Brothers getting sold? Warner Brothers. Initially, everyone was talking about Paramount, but it looks like Netflix is also involved. And then, I'm of the thought, what happens if they say, you know what, we got so many properties, we're going to start selling them off. DC, Warner Brothers has DC, they have Mortal Kombat, they have Cartoon Network, they have Looney Tunes, amongst other properties that, I can't think of offhand. They're not sold, but they're for sale, and both Paramount and Netflix are bidding. So they will be sold pretty soon. 1v1 Clash Royale for $20. Clash Royale, one of those like weird mobile games. Root for Paramount. They will probably be the better of the two. But you wonder, I kept wondering about those IPs separating up. The virus game like Resident Evil, the virus destroys the world, and the game relies on melee combat. I see. Hey, Vigilante, could you share your pronouns? I'm not a big pronoun guy, but I joke they're his, him, and hero, even though I'm not saving nobody from themselves. Yeah, grown man. Well, sort of grown, right? I'm wearing a fucking mask. I'm surrounded by fucking action figures. So I ain't the grown, it's a grown man. Hey, congrats on your animation. You got oh shit, you can't. I was about to say if you got a link, or if you could just tell us your channel, or if you got any animations out there, at least tell us what they are in the chat, so people can support. You cannot link. Could not tell with the mask. Shots fired. Fair enough. Could not link stuff in the fucking vertical streams for some reason. What's up, bro? How's it going? Your mama's boyfriend? That's wild. There's no pronouns, brother. That's not if you have them. That's your business, man. I couldn't tell with the math. That's hilarious work. May Animation working on another one tonight. Yeah, oh yeah, Fizz does animation too. I know you're leaving, but he's an animator. I know he works with Blender. So yeah, I'm always trying to encourage people to get their dreams out there. I'm so pissed off at the corporate entertainment industry. We got to be the new entertainment industry, man. We got to be the new entertainment industry. I want to, releasing music soon, releasing games, hopefully next year, not the year after. It depends on how long it takes to get everything done. It's harder for you doing 3D. Fizz does 3D with Blender. But we got to be the new entertainment industry. Like I said, DC or Warner Brothers as a whole is in between getting sold to Paramount and Netflix, and while I'd rather Paramount, then you got to worry about that company being pretty bloated. And apparently there's a big conglomerate behind them. I can't think of the company, but Paramount and MGM, Skydance, and whatever. There's a big conglomerate behind them. And I just worry about these properties getting lost in a shuffle. Part of me almost rather, I don't want them to get too piecemealed up. Like I don't want them to you got Batman, you got Wonder Woman, you got Superman. I don't want that. But selling DC, all right, you got the whole DC, and you got the whole Looney Tunes, and you got the whole Mortal Kombat, and you got the whole whatever. I'd rather them do that. That's what I'd rather them do, because the issue is, and this I think Paramount might be better than Netflix, but I think it still would suck, because how are we going to get a question property? Part of the reason we don't have nothing for the question, part of the reason we don't have nothing for a lot of DC properties, a lot of Looney Tunes properties, is because there's so many of these things, you can't get to them all. You can't get to everything. Most of the stuff DC's been putting outside of comics has been Batman related. And then you look at the slate of movies that had all these other ideas. Well, now we're at the point where the only 4 movies we know that's coming out of DC is Clayface, Supergirl, Superman, which may be a Superman / Lex Luthor team up, and the Batman. Those are the only 4 movies they got on their slate. And I would think no matter who they sell to, they're going to get these 4 movies. But after that, only God knows what's going to happen. So it is. It's not a get mask. And yeah, I can see it. That was a project, because initially I had trouble seeing. I had to get the mask worked on to be able to see. I'm saving the minds of the masses from the bullshit. How about that, Chris? Hey, I'm saving you from boredom, allegedly, apparently. Watching this on your phone, making animation on your PC. All right, we could be background noise. Lee Valley Friends. Don't understand the reference. Viacom is Viacom, but it's a bigger conglomerate that owns. Even though Viacom, I think, is the company that owns Paramount, but I think it's a bigger, I think private equity firm behind all that. They're gonna end up like Spider. Yeah, that's how you got this Spider-Man at Sony, Marvel at Disney, where Spider-Man. Even though Sony only bought the movie rights, I believe. Maybe also the game rights, because they had the one game for the Xbox. They had a few games for the Xbox. So maybe it was just the movie rights. But, I know they might have the current game rights, right, because of this Insomnia thing. But they never bought the comic rights, ironically, which is why Marvel's still been making comics all this time, and why they, I don't know how the merch has been split either. I'm not sure about all the nuances, but I know main thing Sony had the movie, Spider-Man, Marvel had everything else. But I don't know about merch. I don't know where merch went. In any event, that's why they're in this weird thing where they're not really MCU movies, the Tom Holland movies, but they are in the MCU at the same time. Sony makes the most money from those movies and calls a lot of shots. I don't know what that is. Just started animations yesterday. All right. Well, you're new to the game. Yeah, man. Kumquat. What the hell is that? Is that like what you call it? Vegetable or something? The movie rights is all you need. Well, I think not having the comic rights along with it meant you couldn't control the narrative of your story. And I think also having, remember the cartoons, TV shows, all those other things. It's a fruit. Okay. I didn't see who you timed out. The gift and the curse about these vertical streams, you get way more of the internet. You get way more of the internet. And the curse is you get way more of the internet. Can't make comics. That's true. But they ain't making good comics or cartoons. Hey, communism, I appreciate you being here. Tomorrow I did. So I don't know what FBI said. And are you following the protocol? I don't know. I'm not sure what protocol you're talking about. Train bite. Is that coach? Oh. Sony lost the cartoon rights in 2012, so they did have them at one point. They can just get the casuals with the movies. I see. So that means they had them till 2012, though. So that was a lot of good stuff that happened under Sony then. I would say the heyday happened under Sony then. Damn. As far as Spider-Man animation. That's crazy. I didn't know that. Now, I know a lot of people disagree because everybody loves the Spider-Verse, but, you know what I mean? That's crazy. I'm thinking the 90s and Spectacular must have been in the Sony. Well, actually, I don't know. The 90s one might have been right before they sold, but Spectacular would have been in that era, yeah. So that's crazy. They should have kept them. Texans, are you a Texans fan? If you still here, you might just trolled and scrolled. I don't know. I know there's a lot of that, but that's fine. I troll. Well, I don't troll and scroll. I might comment and scroll. Spectacular was Sony. Okay, thank you. Never gonna see Spider Armor V1 again. No, it's just lost to the annals of time. Not unless you get a job at Marvel. Yeah, sometimes people troll and scroll. That's the gift and the curse. But I've been getting subs. People have been subbing. People sub. So I'm like, I'm gonna start doing more of these streams. Plus, I can just do them whenever. You know what I mean? It's just, it takes no set. I mean, I do that, I put the mask on, which, as you can see, everybody loves the mask. Everybody loves the fucking mask. I don't know why I get so much shit about the damn mask. Making Tom Holland put on some weight. He's just got a small frame. He put some weight. He would still look weird. He would look more like Wolverine in the comics than Spider-Man if he put on a bunch of weight. They also lost the rights to Ghost Rider in 2012. I didn't know that. Damn. Sony kind of dropped the ball. I should have did something with both of them. And listen, the Nick Cage movies wasn't perfect, but it was decent. And to not resurrect that property or do nothing with it and waste it, what a ball drop that was. They should at least thought, because a lot of times those rights things is if you don't make a movie in a certain amount of time, you lose the rights. I'm waiting on fucking Universal to lose the rights to the Hulk since they don't want to make movies for that. Which I don't understand that. I don't understand why they haven't made why hasn't Universal done something similar to Sony, make a deal with the Hulk, where just make the same deal. Whatever the same, like, okay, we want the same deal. You do it with Spider-Man, we want with the Hulk. And we just gonna go from there, where the Hulk movies are ours, and we kind of can do our own universe if we want to, but the Hulk movies are still in the MCU, and we can do Hulk-based movies, have MCU characters cross over, and you can still do them in your films, no problem, whatever. I don't know why they couldn't just sign the same deal. I don't get it. I don't get what the holdup could possibly be. He said Nick Cage did another Ghost Rider movie essentially with 2013 with Drive Angry, which I never seen. I don't want to do Ghost Rider. They're gonna do the Mexican version. Same with the Blue Beetle. Okay, but damn, trying to get rid of all the Mexicans. Okay, jeez, dark. What the fuck? I don't mind Blue Beetle. I don't mind Jaime. I just want him to stop shitting on Ted. Stop shitting on Ted Cord. Just use Ted Core. He's a different type of character. You know what I mean? But they don't really. There's so many DC characters they don't use. I mentioned the question. I don't know if he's still here. Ted Core. It's not about Mexican, not about replacing character because of race and diversity. I figured, but it was an open joke, so I had to take it. Jaime isn't anything like. Yeah, he's nothing like the previous ones. He's a totally original character to the extent where they could have just made him a whole new thing, because his whole origin has nothing to do with the original Blue Beetle. Drop Angry is about Elon resurrecting Nick Cage to have Amber Heard. Bring Amber Heard to Musk. That's wild work. Shout out to you, Brandon Holland. Appreciate you being here. Shout out to Elon. You don't hear much from Elon. Beginning of the year, he was so crazy into the politics thing. I'm kind of glad he left, man. That shit wasn't helpful. Jaime does have connections to Dan, but not Ted. Oh, I see. Fish, as in go fish? Hit the Benjamin off screen? Because you're not supposed to curse that shit. No, just fish. Okay. Facts, man. Okay, I feel you. Just fish. Fuck it. Shout out to fish. But yeah, man, it'll be a shame. We'll see what happens to these properties. We'll see what happens if they get sold. First off, if they get sold, are they going to continue this DCU? Success or not success? I've heard so many different interpretations of whether or not Superman is a success or a failure. I'm going to leave that up to you. I don't. Listen. The people who are going to care the most are going to be the future owner. We'll see what they do with Superman. We'll see what they do with all these properties, not just DC. That's my focus. I'm a diehard DC fan, even though they piss me off all half the damn time. But I don't want to see Mortal Kombat get fucked up. Nobody liked that Mortal Kombat 1. And NetherRealm Studio, they hold. That's another thing. WB Gaming got to get their head out their ass, no matter who they sell to. That's a whole nother can of worms. WB Gaming is trying to redeem a lot with this Lego Batman, and maybe they will. But between past couple Mortal Kombats, which is the least of their problems, when you consider what they did with that Suicide Squad game, Arkham Knight, or Gotham Knights, I'm sorry. Arkham Knight was the last Rocksteady game off the original team. Even though one of those, I think Suicide Squad had the Rocksteady name, but the original team was long gone. Long gone. So, Dan and Jaime get their powers from a scared. Fair enough. Our Ocean's Protein fish, facts. Behind the scene with Wonder Woman game was a train wreck, yeah. Wish that never got off the ground. WB Games is just fucking up. They've been fucking up with a lot of their stuff, and then again in the NetherRealm stuff, they had a lot of stuff that was they just tried to pay for with everything. They didn't fix all the issues. There were a lot of core issues the past couple games, like core fundamental playing issues as far as the balance. And they patched it late. Because that's one thing with modern fighting games. When balance issues arise, you have to patch them fairly properly and fairly regularly. Because if not, you'll have characters that can just dominate. Now, some of that there are different tiers to characters, but you'll have characters that can just spam one move infinitely. There's a joke in the fucking Mortal Kombat movie about the little infinite sweep thing. You can't have that in a modern game, especially if you want us to keep paying for season passes, new characters, new perks, new stages, new this, new that. Certain games, maybe even move sets and different things. And so, as much as there's talk about the failures, that's supposed to be one of the successful franchises, that MK / Injustice NetherRealm Studio, and they're fucking that up, and they're gonna do another Injustice. Psh, okay, but like if you don't get it right, and if it's not a fun game, I mean, God knows what the story's gonna be. But okay, we're doing another Injustice. It's like this company is in turmoil. So when they sell, I mean, especially this company's already sold a couple times. I mean, they were owned by AT&T at one point before this Warner Discovery thing. And that I'm only talking about the Warner side. Remember, Discovery has its own TV shows, TV networks, and all its own set of properties that I don't really care, but they're not things I'm a fan of. But still, that's still like, how is a company going to deal with all that? And I know we're in the private equity era where they don't really give a shit. They just care about using these properties and using these companies that they own to leverage more money for themselves. That's the gimmick of private equity. So I'm speaking of deaf ears. The truth is that everything's going to be fucking mediocre and shitty, no matter what the fuck we're talking about. That's the unfortunate God awful truth. Mediocre and shitty at best. But every now and again, we'll see. I say that. I'm hoping Lego Batman proves me wrong. More evil Superman, of course. Hey, Cotton Ministries, appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being here. I'm ranting about your favorite comic books. Well, I'm ranting a little bit about WB being sold to Netflix or Paramount. And just also, a lot of people was worried about them selling to Disney. It's not that much better. It's still that conglomeration of companies. I mean, just think about this. 10, 15 years ago, Fox, Sony, MGM, Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Disney were all separate companies, including Netflix was a separate company, including Amazon was a separate company, and now a lot of those companies are going to be the same company before we know it, with more consolidation coming. Hell, the ESPN is which was a Disney property, is partially owned by the NFL now, along with their betting services. Yes, the NFL owns a gambling site. So that's, ethical. So as we in this corporate conglomeration of entertainment, corporate conglomeration of everything, and, if you think either political side is going to give a shit about this, there's a reason there's no politics anymore. They don't give a shit about anything except themselves. So we're never going to get any monopoly laws enforced. Antitrust is unfortunately an independent issue. So we're never going to get any anti-monopoly laws enforced. So, shit, who knows how long we even have to have multiple entertainment corporations. That's why it's so imperative that independent entertainment exists and be made, even though it's so hard to get through the thick cloud of noise that is the internet. And even though most people just want mainstream, they just want mainstream corporate America to tell them what to like and what to think and make them think they got a choice. That's what most people want, realistically. And I'm not blaming them for that, because most people, you got to pay these bills. It's so hard to be a hardcore fan of anything. It takes a lot of effort. So to do all that legwork that it takes to find good music, good TV, good games even. Y'all be smarting me up on games. You know why? I work all fucking day. I can barely get some of the, I'll get some doom scrolling in. That's about it. And if it doesn't come up about doom scrolling, I'll go, I don't really know about it. You know what I mean? I'm not a genius expert. Sometimes I do research on things that I'm interested in as far as projects I'm working on. But outside of that, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, because I'm just another dude. So it's hard to keep up with these things. And the corporate system no longer yields good entertainment. Yeah, years like 1984, where, obviously sports was what it was. You maybe watching the Celtics and Lakers. You go in a movie, you might watch Ghostbusters. You might have Purple Rain playing. Or you might go see that as a movie. If not Ghostbusters, what was it like? It was so many movies that came out in 1984, and the albums. If you didn't like that, maybe you listen to Van Halen. You know what I'm saying? Or if you talk about cartoons, Transformers is existing. I think by '84. You just had, no matter where you were, there was something good in that space. And I wish I had, I don't got my iPad. I do. Let me see if I can name y'all all the list of movies that came out in '84. And you're right. You're right. Coca-Cola still hasn't bought Pepsi, but both are successful. If one of them were to fall off, they get easier to buy. But you're right. It's the consumer because the consumer does accept this and encourages this. Shit, I said the thing to you about that fucking WWE tickets. They went from 5,000 to 900, which is still expensive as shit. But nobody bought it. And it's like, oh yeah, if y'all stop buying these expensive tickets, they'll lower the fucking price. But y'all idiots never do. Because y'all just consume. That's the other part of it. I'm still gonna look up 1984 movies just to show you how crazy it was. Oops. And of course 1984 has that connotation as I look up George Orwell. But it's one of the best years. So I'm looking at the Vigilante pause. So you had like Beverly Hills Cop, Ghostbusters, Indiana Jones, Gremlin, The Karate Kid, Police Academy, Footloose, Romance of the Stone, Star Trek 3, Splash. That's the top 10. Top 10. So, and I'm trying to, does it have anything as far as, I could probably they got a list of American films in '84. But yeah, you're at 100% fault. Capitalism makes better. That's when capitalism was capitalizing in the 80s, man. I think that's the problem. Capitalism peaked in the 80s, bro. Right after, yeah, that's why I want to get the dates. Because there are like months. Okay, I'm just looking through, and I don't know every movie in '84, so Footloose. Repo Man is actually pretty good. Spinal Tap came out in '84. Children of the Corn came out in '84. Spinal Tap and Children of the Corn came out the same day. Shit, no. Spinal Tap came out March 2nd. This is Spinal Tap. It's a great mockumentary. Children of the Corn came out March 9th. Which is the same day as Splash, which launched Tom Hanks. Then the next week, 2 weeks later, Police Academy come out on the 23rd. It was like that. I know y'all probably don't care about Romance of the Stone, but it's a well thought of movie. In April, you had Friday the 13th come out on the 13th. That's pretty much it for April. Had Breaking come out May 4th. 16 Candles also came out May 4th. V the Final Battle came out on TV May 6th. The Natural came out May 11th. Rest in peace to Robert Redford just passed. Indiana Jones came out May 23rd, 84. And then a couple weeks later in June, or a week later, Star Trek 3 comes out. And Beat Street comes out the same day, Star Trek. And then the next week, Ghostbusters come out. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, you had shit like that. And then a few weeks later, a month later. No. A few weeks later, I was right. The Karate Kid comes out. So you would have, if you were in June of 1984, you're literally hearing like Prince on the radio, Van Halen on the radio, watching the finals with Magic and Bird, and then you go 1 week, there's a movie called Ghostbusters, and then a few weeks later go see Karate Kid. That was humans' lives like that. That's how motherfuckers was living. Yeah, there's this movie called Ghostbusters. We're going to check it out after the game. Boom. Or if you didn't want to see Ghostbusters, there's a movie called Gremlins came out on the 8th. We can check it out after the game. And then a couple weeks later, we're going to see Karate Kid. That's how it was like that. And I'm only in June. I didn't finish out the rest of the summer. Man, the cocaine. I think it is the cocaine. Because that's the one thing we can say missing from society. I mean, it's, say misogyny, maybe not. I don't know. I'm going to try to be nice. Misogyny. Honestly, the 80s was when you started to have that, the feminist pushback. To be honest, need a JOB for you can get with me. and some of the strong woman archetypes. I don't need no man. That's when you start to get that. But I, but man, I think it was the cocaine. I think cocaine. I've heard cocaine gives you incredible amounts of confidence, and I think that's something. Both cocaine and confidence. Listen, I'm not encouraging cocaine use. I'm not encouraging stimulant use. Drug use is killing this country. You seen people with the Fetty lean. It's killing this country. But I don't know what it was about the cocaine in the 80s. Maybe because it was not stepped on and they was getting that. I'm not joking. I'm not trying to be funny when I say this shit. But these are facts. They were getting a pure grade of cocaine. You know what I mean? They were getting that non-stepped on puro, especially in LA and Hollywood. And I just think they had so much more confidence. It was just, we're going to make shit work. Movies, listen, I got to go by the results. Yes, movies were better with Weinstein around. And let's be honest. I mean, I'm not saying that there's not been a lot of chopped girls already make their way in Hollywood, but boy, there's a lot more chopped women nowadays. And I'm not trying to be funny. Y'all can see I ain't much to look at. I'm not about to win Sexiest Man Alive in my lifetime. So I'm not trying to be funny and disparaging. But I'm just telling you, man, some of these women that you're seeing nowadays that are supposed to be stars are so like, can I just say non-photogenic? Let's listen to Lotto. Yeah, to compare, let's listen to Lotto, watch SGA and Man 2022. Hey, K2J, I appreciate you being here. So you ain't missing much. Yeah, I was reminiscing about the 80s, man. We just went through all how, like, some of the movies, like, one week you got Ghostbusters, next week is Karate Kid, Ghostbusters Gremlin come out the same day. It's like crazy, like Police Academy, then, then Indiana Jones. It was just like every few weeks you had a good movie coming out. And it's like, golly, y'all really was hitting on all cylinders. There's stretches of the 90s that are similar, where you're like, damn, this came out, then this came out, then this came out. And listen, there's also, some of the movies I include, you may say, oh, that movie wasn't that great. But how much better is that movie made than something today? And almost, you know what the thing is? It's maybe cocaine had focus. No stimulus increased focus. They really cared about putting out a good product. There was this real interest. And is that for everybody every time in every piece of entertainment? Of course not. Everybody takes days off, right? They want to, mean to, or whatever, because we're human. But there was just so much of an effort to make something of a high quality. And I don't think it was even that far ago. You still had some of that. And it just disappeared over the past 10, 15 years. And as you are right, Richard, it is the fucking consumer. We keep consuming slop and accepting it. And now the slop has become unacceptable. But it's been slop for a while. It was slop. Honestly, the MCU was slop before it went woke. They'll say, oh, wokeness killed the MCU. Maybe commercially, but it was slop before then. Same with the Fast and the Furious. That's been slop for a while. And then before that, you had slop like the Hunger Games and talk about Man. What did he start off on? Hunger Games and Twilight. That's what he started off as. I'm sure you already got it. But Twilight, you had slop like that. And granted, I'm sure there's slop in the 80s, but it's just like, man, we push slop and let slop be the head of everything. Man, and it's across the whole culture and corporate culture spectrum. Like, I finally heard a Sabrina Carpenter song, and it was like, I can believe her music is AI, bro. It doesn't sound like humans made that. It sounds so generic and banal. B-A-N-A-L, banal, if you haven't heard that word. Not banal, but it's spelled banal. It's just so banal. It's so nothing. It's like, and it almost has an abrasive background noise. It's like there's something in it that makes your ears feel not good, but it's just so nothing. It's so meaningless. I did see him just come out. I saw some mixed reviews on it. I'm thinking about asking my brother if he want to go see it though. But I am a little worried about him. I saw some mixed reviews, but I didn't see any spoiler reviews. Hey, what is going on here, Clown Prince? We were just talking about entertainment. Now we're in the reminisce mode of how dope entertainment used to be, and how we got to hold these companies to a higher standard if we're gonna get better entertainment. And listen, that's not to say good shit don't still come out, because you still get good stuff. And how it's, just across the board. I mean, games has been falling out. Y'all just said something about the Dying Light game. I want to check that out. And then, Hollow Knight came out, or is it out yet? Which I'm scared of playing that game, but I probably will since it's so cheap. They got the first one. Disney wants money. That's true. And that's actually what started. Not necessarily Disney, but Warner Brothers is selling either to Paramount or Netflix. Who knows? Hopefully Disney don't get involved, but Disney wants money. All these companies want money. So Hollow Knight is out. That's a game I can maybe pick up. Or Silk Song, obviously. Hollow Knight been out. But Silk Song. So that just drops. It's not all hopeless, right? Good stuff still comes out. But just not as often and not... Unfortunately, most of us, myself included, I don't want to just blame the consumer like I ain't one. I consume as well. We just got so used to, so used to just accepting the mainstream is going to provide us everything we need entertainment-wise. We didn't even think about it. There's so much else going on, trying to pay your bills, trying to advance in life, trying to get better, trying to keep from getting worse. You might have some situations going on. And it's hard to keep up with entertainment, unless you really are a super fan. So blame the consumer for blame the consumer stop. Yeah, the consumer deserves a lot of blame because we accepted it. We did accept it. But I mean, we accepted a lesser and lesser product to the point they don't even know how to give us the quality products anymore. But there's a few. I think the best we can do is support independent creators, no matter what it is. Luckily, with something like gaming, it's a little easier to support independent creators. With music, it's mixed because you have this product like Spotify where the biggest artists and the smallest artists could be on there, but so little gets paid to anyone that its viability is still requires inauthenticity, basically. The only way to make money on Spotify is to have over 100 songs on Spotify and have over 100 songs that are consistently played. If you can get to that point, you can make some decent money. You can make thousands and thousands per month, and that adds up. But Spotify is a limitedly viable product, or it just by that nature it encourages quantity over quality, right? And so even though I'm striving to do both with my music, it's still like you need to have multiple projects up. That's one of my biggest regrets. I should have been releasing projects since I started the Vigilante Williamson thing back in 2020. I should have been releasing projects, but it is what it is. People will skip a video on how to improve themselves and watch a McDonald's ad. You're right. Though I will say there are people who are not like that, and there are people who are pushing against it. And like I said, there's some independent media being encouraged and appreciated. And we're going to have to, because we're not getting anything from the corporate structure. Like you said, Disney needs money. So what does that mean? That means we got to cut the cost and raise the price. WWE needs money. What does that mean? We got to cut the cost involved, pay less people, raise the price. Everybody wants more money. You know what I mean? Inflation ain't getting no easier. Even though I did see McDonald's trying to lower their prices. Disney put too much faith into Marvel. Yep. Figured it was a money powerhouse. No matter what, fans would throw their wallet at them, and they pumped out projects without focus on the quality. Absolutely, Clown Prince. I'm not EDP, and I'm not that big, Sage. Well, I am pretty big. As a result, She-Hulk. Not just She-Hulk. There was She-Hulk, Moon Knight. There's shit that I forgot they had. Miss Marvel. Think about all these projects I forgot about, and most people forgot about. WandaVision. People probably know Loki, but like outside of that, and She-Hulk is a great example of just slop. They just thought, okay, we can just keep tossing projects out, and we're gonna keep making money. And no, you're not. People don't want to see this shit. Everything they've done since Endgame, really, outside of the Spider-Man, has been kind of a flop. I guess one of those movies also did. It's a Cablevision. We had WandaVision. It was just so much garbage. Is a Cablevision like a cable company? But just all this, they just kept dropping shit. They were dropping shit every. I remember what was it? The whole of Disney between Marvel and the Star Wars. They dropped. I wasn't a big Guardians fan, but a lot of people do like Guardians of the Galaxy. A lot of people like the third one, and that was actually fairly successful as well. There's a few scattered successes. I think one of the Thors are releasing this time. They did okay. There's a few scattered successes, but most did not make his money back. Most of the projects they put out, the Hawkeye project, there was a movie or mini series they had on Disney Plus. I didn't watch it either way. They had a lot of different Shang-Chi. Does anybody remember that movie being made? Shang-Chi? Shang-Chi was a whole movie they made. I don't think anybody remember that it exists. They just kept putting these projects out. They had no real end game after end game. Then you hear about this fucking nightmare of fucking Doomsday. Shout out to MF Doom. Influence of me wearing a mask, right? Talk about EDP. Why I oughta. Were the fight scenes in Shang-Chi. I actually saw that. I ain't gonna call it a whole disaster. First 40 minutes is actually cool to Shang-Chi. Because they actually had some decent fight scenes. And then the rest of it is CGI slop. They were actually doing some decent martial arts fight scenes. And then they just said, nah, let's just make the rest CGI slop. It's like, okay, well, this is trash. Spawn, hey. Appreciate you being here. OG superhero and a brother. Hello, good sir. I'm in search of advice. I began hating myself for great in the past, forcing myself to give in on my passions, became an insomniac, and losing your ability to cry. Sorry about that, Spawn. Insomnia is a bitch. I couldn't tell you nothing about insomnia. I have a terrible schedule. I got to be up. I work afternoons and then go from afternoons into morning, so it sucks. So, you can't regret the past. The past is behind us, man. Because all you do is make more present regrettable past. If you keep focusing on the past and regret the past, then you're like, damn, I spent all 2025. I didn't get nothing accomplished because I was too busy regretting 2021 or 2016 or 2004 or however old the past is for you. You know what I'm saying? So, don't regret the past, man. And I know Spawn, Spawn went through a lot, bro. Spawn went through a lot. Military killer, which that's a crazy thing to be past couple weeks. We'll leave that alone. But military killer, lost his wife after he died. You know what I mean? Caught between the war and heaven and hell. There's a lot going on with Spawn. I didn't see Thunderbolts. I did hear that's another one I heard was supposedly good, but I don't think it made that much money. Because that came out this year. None of these movies this year really made that much money. I guess Fantastic Four made 500. Superman made 600. Those are still respectable numbers in a vacuum. You know what I mean? But for how much they spend on these movies, those numbers aren't quite enough. Aren't quite enough. Said Ted Core made IG account. Did see that. Hey, the man of God. Appreciate that. And yeah, I didn't see it. But I heard it was good, but these movies this year didn't really make much. You shout out your cousin, shout out Tito for selling your 500 Toyota. I would buy a Toyota. Are you saying they are limits? Thank you, good sir. It's nice. Knowing the Spawn is still recognizable. Take your advice and improve upon it. All right, good luck. That's what I'm trying to do myself. Yeah, Spawn is still a cool character. Another property is lost in developmental hell. Why is it the black superheroes? Spawn and that's why I gotta lose weight to become a black superhero because the other ones ain't gonna get a movie made. I don't know what it is about Spawn and Blade. I think it's because it's not just that they're black, it's that they're both really horror related. You would think that would make it easier because usually horror movies are cheaper. But we're in this era where everything's gotta be CG. I think both Spawn and Blade should be mainly practical. including the Spawn costume. I know that would be horrible to deal with from somebody in makeup. But that's how it used to be. You used to do practical. Remember practical costumes? Hellboy was in a suit. Had to put hours and hours to put him in a suit. Fucking Ben Grimm was in a suit. Or Michael Chiklis had to play Ben Grimm. He wore a suit. Even Michael Jai White, you got to wear a suit. You could do some CG. Hell, even the first Iron Man, they had a suit. And they had doubles. And they had a real model. And then they stopped that and went all CG. So that's really why these things, they want to use CG. And if you want to use CG for Spawn, well, now it's a $250 million movie. Spawn not going to make $250 million. It's just, Spawn will make exactly 250, 300 million, but no more. So you gotta spend, if you want to make Spawn, you gotta get it done for 100 million, which if you use practical, you can, but they don't want to. If you keep it practical, you can probably get it done for 50 million. And then you make 250 million and you good. But Spawn's not going to make 8 billion, 800 million, 900 million, $1 billion. And they're going to need to, in order to do it with CG, they're going to need to spend 200 million at least. And that's why you don't get a Spawn. Yeah, but like I said, they've been talking about a new Spawn for so long, man. So long. So you loved it, probably affects you more. I suffered with depression and abuse. The character like Sentry. I kind of do want to see it because it was interesting seeing. I've seen clips of it. Hey, howdy, Tom Jensen. Jamie Foxx. I've heard about Jamie Foxx and Spawn. It'd been nice to do it 10 years ago, 15 years ago when they first was talking about it. Hell, I thought they could have brought Michael Jai White back for a long time. Now I think you need a whole new actor that's neither Jamie Foxx or Michael Jai White. I think you need a younger actor. And you need, like you said, Spawn shouldn't be a spectacle. I agree. It should be pretty dark. It should be pretty dark and practically done by high quality makeup artists, like the first one was. Which they had some CG in that too, but it was at 90s CG. But I really think they need to do a non-CG practical Spawn. They could get, if you got, and listen, I don't know how much it's going to cost for the lead, but I don't, find. They used to look for unknown but talented actors. They need to go back to that too. Stop going that. Prime Denzel Washington Spawn. I don't know. I think he could do Blade. Him as Blade would be more interesting in his prime than Spawn. He can do Spawn though. He can do both. Denzel the man. That would be interesting. I heard they want him in Black Panther 3. I'm not interested in Black Panther 3. Y'all got 2 movies out of me, man. I'm done. But yeah, that would have been interesting if Denzel, if his prime was before the comic book movie wave. I mean, he crossed. Training Day came out around the same time as Spider-Man, right? So it's not like it's totally before, but his you think of him 90s and 2000s, and then the superheroes is really 2000s and into the 10s. Didn't even see the second. Yeah, I love Denzel. Surgical with this bitch Jake. The second Wakanda movie, it was okay. They honestly did them more dirty. They did name more dirty as fuck that whole movie. I'm surprised you didn't hear more pushback from Hispanic people on how Namor was portrayed. They did him so dirty. He was done mud dirty. Denzel's Magneto. I may have heard it. Now that you mention it, it's something which I don't think they would do. And Magneto, even though Lord knows, I think Magneto needs to be a Jewish dude who survived a concentration camp. Now that's going to be more difficult as we get further and further away from World War II. I guess you're going to have to go his magnetism slowing down his aging at some point. But that is, and Retro Richard, get out of here. From what we know about history, the irony of a guy who survived a concentration camp having a very similar ideology to Adolf himself, that irony is the core of Magneto, right? And the further, and listen, this is going to be a problem whether they use Denzel to cast him or some other actor, 5, 10, 20 years from now, because he'll be too old of a character to have lived through the Holocaust. And you doing modern X-Men. In fact, when they do the modern X-Men, how are they going to do it? You can do it with X-Men 97, where he's only 50 years old or, in his 60s. Because 97 is only 50 years from that time, 50 and some change. But how do you do that when you're in 2040? Now it's 100 years from that time. Now it doesn't even make sense. So that's an issue they're going to have to deal with. I guess if they were going to break it off with Denzel, it wouldn't be terrible. But they're going to have to deal with that issue at some point anyway. They could use age slower, but that hadn't been part of his lore, though. Namor was the star of Marvel Comics #1. Wow. That's crazy to think that he was the star of Marvel Comics #1. They did him so dirty. I mean, that's probably what they're going to do. They're going to retcon that he ages slower because he's a mutant. But then that becomes that's still just going to be problematic at some point. Hi, I hope you're having an amazing day. Thank you. New to the live. Like to get a better idea of the morals. Whoa, dark. Yo. What the fuck? That's a wild question. Wild set of questions to ask. Rajon Laxus. Profession. Body count and religion. You said my other point to a Christian. That's crazy work, brother. That's crazy work. Or that's another thing they could do. Cloud Prince, time traveling, multiversal thing, bring X-Men to the time. That's what it looks like they're going to do with Fantastic Four. Is that because the Fantastic Four had this retro futuristic world in its own universe, and that's how they're going to bring him in. Found a way to clone himself. Surviving death. That's another. We've tried to leave that alone, Kai. We want to stay over there. That's an understandable question. That's an understandable question. Marvel Comics 1, 1939. Namor was the #1. Wow, that's crazy to treat you literally you're the character that started it all like dog shit. Yeah, he's not. He's muscular Spock. Basically, he's not from Latin America in the comics. And Peace from Brooklyn. Andy Harry, NYC. No sleep till Brooklyn. Hello, Brooklyn. No, I'm not laughing at you. I'm not making fun of you. I'm making fun of the question, but because it's a weird question to ask. You know what I'm saying? But you know what, man? If that's something that's important to you, honestly, my body count's not that high. So it's not that high. I got a job when I work from home, and I do believe in Jesus. No joke, no jokes aside, or no joke, I actually do believe in Jesus. All the jokes I'm doing, all the entertainment, I do believe in Jesus. But I don't define myself as a Christian. But asking people their body count is weird, man. I answered it though. Sinister saves Magneto from age. I guess there's ways to do it. Max finds a there's ways around it, the age thing, but that wasn't at the core of the character. How's that weird? I'm from NYC. We do it all the time. Really? There's somebody else. There's a couple people from NYC. Do y'all just be asking each other body count? Andy Harry, NYC. Peace from Brooklyn. This other New Yorker said that y'all just ask random people body counts. Is that the thing? That thing? Still a virgin, never went to public school? You didn't miss that with either. Profession is what you do with your life. Religion is the guide to force your life. Body count, how you respect body relationships. We don't ask that. I'm from the Bronx. We don't ask that you're gay. That's not how you know somebody more. You think somebody can't have a low body count and be a sociopath or be a good person? Well, I would say having a high body count, especially when you want to bring in religion. Their soul ties is a real thing. So having a high body count is not good for your spirit, not good for your physical STDs, not good for your mental. So I'm not encouraging anyone to have a high body count. But if you think someone can't have a low body count and still be a sociopath, you're crazy. No disrespect to you, but I'm not saying you specifically, but You know what I mean? People could be batshit crazy at the low body count. They could answer all the questions to you, and that's how people get fooled. By the way, they think they hear certain attributes. These attributes mean this person won't hurt me or isn't capable of this. No, everybody you know is capable of the worst and the best. So you would ask somebody those questions in genuine earnest. Now you probably just fucking around with me, and I'm just it's a stream. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to hopefully entertain y'all. We entertain each other and get through this thing called life. But you being serious, you ask somebody that you really care about the answers. Don't think a low body count is all. Oh, I'm good. You can still be one. They can be lying, and two, they can still be a demon without it. So, all jokes aside, that's a game. They'll figure it out somehow. They will. But the authentic, that's just that's what happens with time. I mean, that's how we got to Frozen Captain America, because as time went on, they say, oh man, now it's the '60s and the '70s. It doesn't make sense, so we got to freeze them, and then that became a thing. So now they just thaw them out later and later in life to get closer to our time, right? From Grand Concourse, okay, fair enough. They can have Magneto from Africa, one of their genocides. That would be interesting. That's true. EDP, where are your cupcakes? I'm not EDP. I'll give you a pass one time. Next, I let people make fun of me to some extent because, again, I don't really give a fuck. But you get excessive. I will time you out. Says woman equal stress. Yeah, but life equals stress. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna say, hey, do what's best for you, and then as soon as you say that, of course, listless shows up. Hey, listless. But do what's best for you in a relationship. I ain't gonna tell nobody how to live. I ain't in a relationship now. I'm not looking for one. That's why you ask more than one question. Fair enough. But even a combination of, you know what I mean? There's only one way to understand somebody's morals, and that's to actually get to know them. There's no way around it. There's no hack. There's no hack to that. There's no hack to that, man. But I wish you the best. Either way. Wish you the best. What do we see? Do you think they're trying to use the original 2000s cast? They're probably, what I expect is I think the original 2000s cast are going to make, here's what I heard Marvel's going to do. They're going to do Doomsday, Secret Wars, which may be 2 movies, and then they're going to reboot the whole thing. So we'll probably see one last gas from that 2000 cast in one of or all of these 3 movies, these 3 Avengers movies that I'm talking about, the 2 Secret Wars and Doomsday, and then they'll recast everybody. And they're going to recast everybody and start from scratch. Which, unfortunately, as much as I hate that, that's the only way. There's nothing else they could do. Get to now you get the morals by seeing the action. Well, that's what I mean. Get to know somebody. You have to get to know. You got to. I consider that the same thing. I don't need to spend a bunch of time. People are probably pricks. That's going to be a problem. Nobody wants to see another Cap or another Iron Man, but they're going to have to recast. There's the unfortunate reality that a lot of people suck, right? And I'm an introvert naturally, right? But there's also the unfortunate reality that we're social creatures. That's something I'm coming to, and I'm starting to realize. Man, I am a social person. I'm not living as social a life as maybe I should. Though my schedule sucks, but I could probably make a better effort. And so, Richard, he's supposedly from the Bronx. I believe him. He said, "You from the BX for real?" He don't believe. He said he don't believe. You need more people. But I remember you and Splitter was talking about it. Y'all knew the same areas in the Bronx. Because I do believe he's from the Bronx. He's a long time viewer. Region. Oh, shit. But hey, listeners might say, hey, I ain't gonna time. I try not to time people out. Somebody said, well, EDP. But, that's more encouragement to lose weight. I was thinking about going to sleep after this stream, but like, no, I need to go to the gym. Go ahead and get that little cardio in. Motherfuckers talk about EDP. I gotta go ahead and get that fucking cardio in. You say, think you a Long Island dude. Isn't it weird how cities be like that? A lot of cities are like that. Oh man, you're not from Detroit, you from Southfield, or you not from the city. You're not from you're not from New York. You from Long Island, or you from upstate, or you from something else. Fun chat with you. You're subscribing. Got a friend in PA. Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. He is younger. Richard is like 20, I think, 19 or 20. So I guess he would be considered. Even though we gotta stop saying YN, man. At some point, we got to start speaking some positivity out of the new generation. There is too bad of a habit of constantly being down on the young generation that happened when I was young. There was the damn YN is positive. Nah, we gotta speak more positivity into our youth, man. I sent Richard the damn Sidney Poitier going back. That was from the '60s, and he was talking to the older man, his dad, about how it is, the character or whatever. Like, man, like, you just don't understand what the youth are going through, or what people who are younger than you are going through. It's like we always misunderstand, because the world is constantly changing. So every time the new generation comes up, they're in a totally different world than we lived in. And if you don't understand that, you keep asking, why is the new generation so different? They're in a different world. It got to be different. The world Richard was in was totally different than when I was in, which was totally different than when my mom was in, which was totally different than when my grandma was in, which was totally different from her grandma. It was all different worlds, different whole worlds. I mean, we live on the same earth, but it's a different world. It's a different world. So we got to speak more positivity into our youth, man. Because we all live in, it's tough. Thank you again for that super chat, brother. Clown Prince. It's always nice to get a super chat. I think I had to tell him to go to the age. We were just talking about how great the '80s were. Y'all know I love the '80s. Got to sing, single. Hopefully, put the first single out next week on YouTube, at least a video. I think the '80s and the '90s were the golden age for entertainment, and I mean, I think that's why so many properties from that era still persist. Lil N, YN. RN, OG, old. Crazy. 22 got your own apartment. Huge comic book movie nerd. Okay, smooth. There's some truth there. Each era has something better than the other. There's some truth there. You know what I mean? That's why it's good to appreciate your era. Appreciate the future, appreciate the past. You know what I mean? I appreciate the past eras. I appreciate past eras. I appreciate my era. Hey, I appreciate now. I'm sitting here. Brother just sent me $5 for talking on the internet. That's dope as fuck. Like, holy shit. That could never happen in the past. You know what I'm saying? It never happened in the past. But yeah. Yeah, I'm not, Retro could tell a story if you want. He long time, so I know his story, but I'm going to let him tell it. Because it may not to. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you can look at it. But I think, you know what? I just seen the thing where it's talking about, in 2043, or you're going to be talking about all these old basketball players from this era trying to say how good they were. Sometimes that's the thing. You just got a different generation. We got to have more respect for each other. Respect for the differences of the lives we went through. There's going to be some things better, some things worse. And I had so many animosity. Jesus, there's so many different verticals they got to divide people. Age is one, gender is one, race is one, politics is one, religion is one. And it's working, and it really shouldn't, because we got, it's not really worth worrying. One, it's not really worth worrying about. And two, it's just like, man, we don't have to accept each other anyway. We don't really get a choice. Thanks to the internet, the past ain't glory mine. This glory mine people say, you can see a lot more of the internet. And you can always access the past media. You can never access all the media you can at the fingertip of a button. You get every game that ever existed, every movie that ever existed, every TV show. You get to see it all. You know what I'm saying? So even if nothing new's coming out, you can just watch old shit and you never see it all. But you do see, we made mistakes. That's how we got here. We really made a lot of mistakes when it comes to, I would say, the previous generations absolutely made mistakes in regards to property ownership. Absolutely not. Now, all of them wasn't ours, right? Because '08 happened. That '08, '09, the whole fucking crisis, which was bullshit. They kept giving out overpriced home loans to people who couldn't afford them, with no regard for human life. And then once all these millions of dollars loans got defaulted on, they didn't bail out the humans. They didn't bail out the people. They bailed out the banks. So, it's just like we just got fucked and the banks got off with it and made more money infinitely more than they did then now. And then now they just buy up all the houses. They don't even give us a chance to buy homes unless we want to pay $700,000 for a shack. So, it's now that door is pretty much slamming shut as far as home ownership. And you can bet your $5 most people who do own homes will eventually either sell or their family will sell to some corporate entity down the line. So we're probably only a generation or two from home ownership no longer being not only a part of the American dream, but in a generation or two, home ownership won't even be, shit may not even be legal. You can argue it was never legal with property taxes, and that's a safe argument. Especially, that's another hustle, raise the property taxes. We can raise the property taxes and make it unlivable. So it is what it is. And you say internet exposed a lot. You don't mean Hollywood locally people. Yeah, you get to see how some of the old habits were. I feel like I don't belong to my own generation. Technically, I'm part of Gen Z. Didn't have a phone until you was 18. Graduate, pay for it yourself. Most people your age have a phone at 10. Which I heard that trend is starting to reverse. That some parents are not giving their kids phones that young anymore. That was a mistake that was a mistake for the younger millennials and Gen Z. And I saw it. I saw people make it. I don't have kids. I'm an older gentleman. I'll be 38 in a few weeks. I don't have children. Just it didn't happen for me. It is what it is. Not married or anything either. So I'm talking about like families, friends. You see, just hand the kid an iPad, hand the kid then he hand the kid toys where they could play and maybe think, maybe learn, maybe be creative. No, just hand them an iPad. And they just handed all these kids iPads for generate, and they still doing it, handing kids iPads. Let them watch Netflix. Let them watch everything that's on the internet. And what happens when your 5-year-old hits a live leak? What then? Or the hub? What then? And it does happen. Shit, we see what happens when your kid's on Roblox. He inviting grown folks over to your house now. Your 6-year-old just invited a 30-year-old man to come to your house off of Roblox because you handed him an iPad or a controller and then looked away while you busy trying to take selfies for the gram. Your damn self. And that's how a lot of kids been raised. And then we wondering what's the issue with this generation? Well, what the fuck do you think the issue is? Battleships is one. Okay, maybe not very cool. Oh, Battleships is cool. You fought with them, cool. Whatever floats your boat, finds your lost remote. But yeah, you see Phil and probably man. Y'all probably around the same age. Internet really spoke. Yeah, happening again here. Most of your classmates have bad parents. Yeah, unfortunately. Ain't for the Bronx. What's even the point of property taxes? The point of property taxes is to make it harder for the citizens. A lot of the point of things is just to make it harder for the citizens and just to make sure that your property is still owned by the state. That's the point of property taxes. If you live in the Bronx, giving advice to people about money, then I can't take your advice seriously. The point of property tax is legalized theft. Roblox do gotta go. Retro, what you doing? Hold on, whoa. I wasn't sobbing. I was just telling y'all. Shit. Yeah, keep the message delayed then. Fuck. I was trying to help you out, bro. I wasn't fucking sobbing. I'm just telling y'all. I don't know if I want kids. Damn, you know what? Yeah, the fuck. I was about to say, hey, no. And then he took a shot at me. Well, you know what I mean? I honestly, I don't want you to yeet people though people are probably gonna be more eatable, right? Because I'm trying to grow, and I'm seeing okay, you can. I've been on this fucking platform 5 years. Sometimes I can grow, sometimes I can't. It looks like I'm growing off these fucking streams. I like doing these streams. I'm trying to grow, but people do be saying wild shit. You know what I mean? I yeeted somebody the other day, so I'd rather not people not yeet it because he probably was somebody who's gonna stick around if you didn't yeet him. So I would say at least next time ask. How about that? Next time ask if you could do that. That's one thing I ask. I don't. I'm still. I don't know. I said no politics, so I'm not as free speech as I once was, right? But I still try to believe in that shit. Bronson's always on some dumb shit. That's why we're leaving. Flex living in the concourse. You know how garbage that place look now. Fair enough. But yeah, I'm not about to get into it. And that is weird. People ask you everybody's life story. The first, like, man, y'all, you know, hopefully y'all can enjoy the stream. Shit, man. You know, I'm trying to grow. You know, I meant to put road to 1,000 in the description. Can I do that now? Matter of fact, I want. Is it? Can I edit the description? Let me see. I don't know. I don't think I can. Yeah, I can't do politics. 8 Mile is not that bad. Watching a new Alien show, first Disney anything you watch in 3 or 4 years. Wow, congrats on that. Because Disney is trash. 8 Mile is not that bad anyway. I mean, there's parts of it is, but you know, the whole relevance of 8 Mile. First off, 8 Mile goes through a lot of the suburbs because the way it runs into some suburbs. So there are nice parts to 8 Mile. Thank you very much. 2, the relevance is that it separates Detroit from a lot of suburbs as well. So, yeah. But I know it's not that bad anymore. Anything from Concourse, Fordham Road looks like garbage. I still love Detroit. Hell, you know what? I should plug. Once I'll drop it, hopefully next week. I wrote to a remix to this guy, Kyle Bethel. He got a song called City of Demons. And he had an open verse that he had put on Instagram. And it took me a month before I actually wrote to it. But I finally wrote to it, and I'm going to put a little video, a little clip out of it next week. Because I got an extra day off, so hopefully next week I can do it. And the whole thing is about loving these cities, man. Even, you know, the cities of demons. You know, I talk about being from Detroit, living in Houston. And though, you know, these cities can be crazy, you still love them. You shouldn't love the city, but I love the city. So it is what it is. The reason I don't want to talk politics is because it's so bullshit now, and it's just I don't respect either side. So it's like I can't even talk. The thing with politics is I don't respect either side even a little bit. So I can't have a conversation with people who are hardcore political, and so I don't want to have a conversation with people who are hardcore political. I don't, you know, it's a waste of time. But yeah, dude did take a shot on me. I'm like, man, don't take a shot on me. I ain't do. Alien show's good so far. Not totally about the xenomorph. They introduced a bunch of new alien creatures. He said, look like ass back in 03. Probably looks, you said it looks worse than 05. I see. Shout out to NYC anyway. Shout out to NYC anyway. Her 18-year-old boy. Oh, yes. You talking about that? Oh, no, you talking about something else. That's even worse. I thought you were talking about the Davis story, even though this story sounded like the Davis story. But you're talking about something even worse. 18-year-old boy raped and murdered a little kid through Minecraft. Crazy work. See, yeah, that shit. And again, going back to what I was saying before we went this quick aside about this, it's that parents handed their kid an iPad and said, you're good, and just we'll live with the results. That's why we got so many people that treat the online world like the real world and don't have any clue how to exist in reality. And granted, there's older people than 18. There's people older than me that feel that way. He turned himself into police after. How demonic. That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. Because he was done with 18 too, but he deserved to die. That's the evilest shit you could do. Messing with kids, man. What the fuck is... Why can't people leave these kids alone, man? I mentioned that damn Davis story. Y'all ain't heard about that. This singer that I had never heard of until this story broke was dating this 12-year-old who was missing at 13, but apparently with him while she was 14, died at 14. Her 15th birthday just passed, but she was already dead before that. They know because she was so badly decomposed in this man's Tesla. He was like 18, 19, 20, whatever he is, right? It looked like he met her 2022. And then it's all sorts. It's one of the weirdest stories. Like first off, there's that what I just said, which is already demonic enough, right? He dealing with this young girl, looks like he killed her. But then he made all this music to her. He released one of his biggest music videos on her birthday. Looks like he's upset, and a lot of models and actresses in his videos look like this girl. It's so weird. He's dating another girl who had the same name that looked similar to the girl but was older, and people think that was like if you think he's talking about her type shit. And it got so bad that other kids in her school started to blackmail the guy. So he was paying little kids off to not tell nobody that he was dealing with this 13, 14-year-old, and then ended up killing her and putting her in the trunk. And they found it in his truck a few, like last week or whatever it was. Crazy story. And he's still not in custody. I mean, they are investigating his home. It looks like he finally stopped touring, which he was on tour, but he's still not in custody, which is unreal. Unreal. It means the man, if he wanted to, could Roman Polanski. If y'all don't know who Roman Polanski is, which I'm sure a lot of you youngins may not, he was a director in the 70s accused of messing with the youth because these demons can't leave kids alone, but he fled the country. They never extradited him, and Hollywood will still celebrate Roman Polanski. So David, unfortunately, still, I shouldn't say that, I don't want to speak that into existence, but he still has that option, as demonic as it is. So yeah, it's a fucking horrible story. That's why your story is just horrible too. Like, why can't these people leave these fucking kids the fuck alone? All these beautiful women in the world, you fucking around with kids, y'all need to deserve to burn in hell. Burn in hell, man. All right, let's get back to the chat. So Fizz talking about the Alien show. The main antagonist technically is not even a xenomorph. New alien that hijacks bodies. An 18-year-old touch. Yeah, touching grass is serious. Yeah, it's horrible. Look up the David story. The way his stage name is spelled is D, the number 4, V, D. And you look it up, and it's a horrible story. Hopefully he at least brought to justice. Hey, wait down, long time no see. Former editor of the show way back when. We were a different universe back then, man. Gotta remember, Viz, these cats are stupid and weak. That's why they're easy to control. They target kids. That's a very true point, because they can only feel powerful and dominant. He looked young, too. I think, because the mom also said, oh, yeah, she got a boyfriend named David, and she probably thought he was 14 because he's a small dude. So when you say he's weak, he's a small, scrawny little dude, weak, probably only feel powerful around kids. He needs to be put to death, man. He's a murderer. Yes, I don't know why. He was apparently a popular singer. I had never heard of him, but he must have a lot of fans. But he's not in jail yet. They are investigating, at least. They did raid his property. But no, he's not in jail. He should be in custody. I don't know what the DA is waiting for. I don't know what they're waiting for. Oh, did they? Wouldn't shock me. They used to celebrate Roman Polanski. But Wake Down says a few years ago, Hollywood signed a fresh petition to forgive Roman Polanski. Crazy work. Speaking of Wake Down, man, how you doing, man? It's been a minute since you've been around. I always appreciate when you can show up. I know you're busy. You still on the other side of the earth. Even as a kid, I always liked women. My current age, I don't understand the weirdo stuff. People weird, but Wake Down broke it down. A lot of these people are weak. They're so weak, and they're weak to a level that you could never imagine. And so they just so weak and so sick. That's the only thing they could be around. Had to help a lady that made a documentary about Roman for Sundance. She was a total bitch. That's crazy. I think, honestly, Fizz, I think we're getting too far away from why the first 2 Alien movies were successful. I think it's in tech they would call it scope creep. I'll call it I guess you still use the term scope creep, but it stands the scope of the IP, where this IP was supposed to basically be. It was a horror slash action IP. You know, the first one was more towards horror, second one was more towards action, right? Or at least at that action ending, right? So or climax, which is good, which was good enough to be considered an action movie in the '80s, right? All you needed was because Rambo, the original Rambo, is considered an action movie. It's really not until you get to the climax. There's some action throughout, but it's really the climax that makes it an action movie. In any event, it had one identity. And granted, the second one did expand upon the identity, right? She's in the future and all that. So I'm not saying there was no expansion, but they've expanded to the point where, like you said, it was all about xenomorphs. That was kind of it. You know what I'm saying? And now, in one way, it makes sense because if there's xenomorphs, there would undoubtedly be other aliens and there would be other alien species. So, in one way, if you're going to keep making things in this property, it's inevitable. But even with that, I think the focus should still be on the interaction between humans and xenomorph. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it shouldn't be the focus. And even in that Romulus, some of that focus, I talk about that climax, I kind of like that weird, disgusting humanoid thing. That started to take over the focus. So it's like, hey, this is about xenomorphs versus humans. Or, I guess, predators, which don't do that anymore. But you know what I mean? That's what this should be about, no matter what we go. And I didn't see Prometheus. I know people have mixed feelings on Prometheus. That should be the core. That's what I think. That's how I think. But it is what it is. Wait down is correct. Unfortunately, I can't click links and keep the stream going in a vertical stream. Looks like it was 2009. Sheesh. All right, Cambodia is also still there. I take it. I live in a 2-bedroom house, $100 a month, make 5 times the average national wage. Cute wife, brilliant son. You're gonna die here. Wow. Well, I'm glad you found happiness, man. I'm glad you found happiness. You're the proto passport, bro. But you actually did it. You actually you didn't. At least you didn't. Well, I don't know. Maybe you did in one way. But hey. Also, aliens, Earth introduced synths with human brains and cyborgs, including evil Brax cyborg villain. I see. But the main thing in Earth is essentially a body snatcher. So I still may or may not check it out. I get late to properties, but it's just like, we're starting to get out of the scope of what this originally was about. Tropical weather all year, practically no rules. Do whatever you want as long as you don't hurt nobody. Being a tall white guy, I didn't know you were tall. Dudes get out of your way, women smile a little too much, low. That's pretty cool. I'm glad you're enjoying it. 18-year-old 2014 got 25 years in prison. Should have been more than that. Should have been life. Not sure if it was extended. So I'm not tall, but I am here. I see. I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. Glad you're enjoying it. Glad you guys are enjoying it. Glad you guys enjoyed the stream. We're getting close to that hour and a half mark. So we're getting close to probably wrapping it up. So I'm just saying that it's more Resident Evil, except they use aliens instead of GMOs. I see. See, now we're talking about another property. Throw a like. Yeah. Throw a like. Yeah, if you haven't liked, please like. Like I said, we're probably 5 or 6 minutes away from wrapping this stream up. I appreciate anybody watching this live. Appreciate the turnout, man. We got up to 15, 16 people watching. These phone streams, the algorithm's a little bit friendlier, so we will be doing more of these. I may try to set up a vertical gaming stream. We'll see how that goes. I've been able to do it before, so I got to look into it, try to do it again. And maybe we can get a game stream going. It's not just me ranting and raving. But this has been fun, man. This is always fun to enjoy y'all. Shout out to the new people who joined. Please sub if you haven't. Like, share, sub. We try, if you want to know what type of channel is this, that's a very good question. I just kind of talk about things. It started off literally over 5 years ago as kind of a politics and entertainment channel. I've been trying to get out of politics for 2.5 years. And while I'm out of it as a person who, like, I don't pay attention to it as much, unfortunately, with events that happen, I end up, well, okay, well, I know some of the people still here. So at a certain point, I just got to, this is my stopping point. So I'm just like, no politics. I'm not going to hate you if it was brought up, but it's just like, I got to stop because this is not helpful. The thing, I'm also a musician. I should have been releasing music this entire time. I have not. That will change over the next few weeks and months. We'll be releasing music, both synth pop and hip hop, because who does both but me? I guess there may be some, but still. So I'm just doing my own thing musically, doing my own thing as a content creator. I try to, crack jokes. If I can provide advice, if I say anything of meaning, hopefully it can be positive to somebody. And if nothing else, just provide, shit. Sometimes I just be wanting noise. They say old people want noise with the radio or some shit like that. Just turn the radio on for noise. Sometimes you just want something that's not going to offend you or piss you off. When I say offend, I mean like sometimes if I'm listening to a sports video and they say something stupid or say that's completely incorrect about sports, I'm gonna stop watching. So you just want to see if you just want somebody to listen to who's like not stupid, I'm probably still not the best guy you could go to, but I'm gonna try my best anyway. So please like, share, sub, all that other stuff. I appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate y'all being here. Talk to Low Spec. Low Spec. It's been a while since I talked to Low Spec. We can tell you. You might be able to tell me how to set it up. All right, bye, everybody. All right, we can probably start wrapping up. Heard the details and it was horrific, man. That's fucking crazy. The world is crazy, and that's why it's more important to guard our minds, guard our spirits, do the best we can, pursue our dreams. We got to pursue our dreams, man. You have to pursue your dreams, no matter how lofty they are. Don't let nobody tell you can't fucking pursue your dreams. That's the most important thing you can do, because by pursuing your dreams, you stop yourself becoming bitter. Because the reason so many people are so bitter and so easy to manipulate is because they never did what they wanted to do. They never pursued their dreams, and their spirit is incomplete. So they feel their spirit, and they engage in idolatry to feel their spirit. And it's toxic, and you don't want to do that. So if you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do that. And even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Good night. God bless. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. And well, folks, it's been real, real fun. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. Don't forget to tell your friends about the masked black dude. Yeah. I'm not going to mug anybody. Hey, what the fuck? Slap the like button. Yeah, slap the like button. I would time y'all, but the stream's over. All right, peace.